Good morning, Flagler County. I'm Rich Carroll. You're listening to Flagler's Morning News on Tuesday, July 13th, and this local news is a service of Flagler County's Toyota dealer, Beaver Toyota, here to wow you. Palm Coast City Councilman Victor Barbosa is denying an assertion by the Flagler County Sheriff's Office that he's a fugitive wanted for kidnapping and extortion. John Arking has more.
Last week, Sheriff Chief Dan Engert wrote to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement that they'd become aware of Barbosa's possible fugitive status from Costa Rica after a March 4th car crash involving Barbosa. After running his name through a database, criminal charges turned up for a Victor Manuel Barbosa Muller for aggravated robbery, assault with a weapon, and extortion. Barbosa, however, says this is all a big misunderstanding.
I've never been arrested in Costa Rica, never been questioned. This is the first time I've been hearing about this. I've hired a lawyer over there to see what's going on. I mean, he hasn't not got back to me yet. It takes a couple of days over there to move around and get stuff done. So hopefully I hear back from him soon. No authorities here have ever reached out to me. I just want to remind the people I didn't do any of these accusations.
While the U.S. Department of Justice has opened its own investigation into Barbosa, so far it has not given the go-ahead for local authorities to take him into custody. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm John Arkin.
A road rage incident in Flagler County turned ugly. Karen Johnson reports.
The Flagler County Sheriff's Office responded to a call at the Brass Tap in Palm Coast recently about an armed disturbance. The responding deputy was informed that the suspect fled from the scene in a white Ford F-150 after a road rage incident became potentially dangerous. Sheriff Rick Staley explains.
Deputies determined the victim was working as a delivery driver and was blocked in traffic by our suspect and could not get around. When the two had words, the suspect retrieved a firearm from inside his vehicle and pointed it at the victim while threatening to harm him.
The suspect was later identified as 54-year-old Derek Wilson. While the victim was reporting the incident to the communications center, Wilson fled the scene. An FCSO public service officer assigned to the nearby district office saw the truck stopped at the intersection of Old Kings Road and Kings Way and notified the communications center. Eventually, deputies were able to maneuver patrol vehicles behind the suspect's vehicle and conduct a felony traffic stop in the parking lot of the Brass Tap. Sheriff Staley says this isn't Wilson's first encounter with law enforcement. He has a long criminal history dating back to 1988. He's previously been charged for homicide. For Flagler's Morning News, I'm Karen Johnson.
The Whispering Meadows Equine Therapy Ranch off of John Anderson Highway is likely to be moving to a new location near the county fairgrounds off of County Road 13. The proposed move would hopefully settle a dispute that the ranch has been operating outside of county regulations. A 3-page memo of understanding was recently drafted between county officials and Whispering Meadows, according to Flagler County Growth Management Director Adam Mengel, who encourages the commission to approve it as it affects multiple government agencies and other parties.
For those you can imagine, the challenges that we have are the agreements that we have in place, both with the state, the trustees, and the Internal Improvement Trust Fund, and then also with FFA and the school district for provision of services at their facility. Definitely we don't want to step on FFA's toes and think there may be an opportunity here for both the equine therapy operation known as Whispering Meadows and the FFA to benefit from some of the work that we're talking about now through this MOA.
Dennis Baer, representing the ranch, said they've devoted a large amount of time to get this resolved.
There's a request that Mr. Tanner makes that he be allowed to sit in on every staff meeting where this item is discussed, even if I'm not participating or my client's not participating. If you open up that can of worms, then it's going to have to happen for every land use decision. I'll be calling and saying, hey, staff, I get the right to sit in. So I don't think you want to go there.
Flagler County Commissioner Andy Dance explains the memorandum in detail.
At this stage, it's really about the different agreements that have to be modified that relate specifically to that piece of land as they are owned by the Department of Environmental Protection. And there's different agreements that have to be modified, ones with the school district in order to facilitate the ranch and the work that they do.
The agreement gives both sides at least until the end of the year to work out a permanent settlement, resulting in the ranch's move to the fairgrounds. Local health authorities have been receiving some less than polite treatment by the public as they try and provide COVID vaccines to Flagler County residents. Flagler County Health Officer Bob Snyder tells WNZF that he's been truly perplexed by some of the responses they've had to endure.
People would come by in their cars, and flick the finger and throw the F-bomb and verbally abuse and heckle our team. And I'm like, just scratched my head when I'd witnessed it, because I'd go out and make rounds with them and visit with them. They're just doing their jobs.
Snyder said despite that behavior, they will continue with their work regardless. If you love something, you work on it from an early age.
That's what Trent Burning with Daytona State College said about art. He was in it at an early age.
I got really serious about it about age 16. I came from a very small farming community out in western Kansas and just didn't have a lot of options, but I really got into it there, and that earned me a scholarship to go on to school, and it's so the arts have opened up a lot of doors for me.
Burning said that while he and his students, the veterans and their families, have a lot of fun in their classes, he does take it seriously, knowing how the arts have helped him. You can listen to the Veterans On Point program on Sunday mornings at 9:30 here on WNZF Radio, the podcast on the Flagler Radio app. Tomorrow, Burning talks about how he passes on the passion for art. From the WNZF Newsroom, I'm Deb Albertson.
And now you're up to date on Flagler's Morning News. I'm Rich Carroll.